Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this, I'm saying, special edition. It's kind of a 50-50 blend. I'll say it's from the straight from the bar, but, you know, we're officially in the studio right now. Unofficially, officially in the studio right now. And Battle Scars podcast.
This is actually our first one for Battle Scars, even though we don't have everything up yet.
Yeah.
The studio's getting there.
But I got to tell you how nice it is just to be here. Just to be in the studio and to be here with such a guest.
Oh, we've got the guest for him today.
Just when I opened up the Instagram, just the first couple highlights of your bio, the accomplishments that you've accomplished, my brother. B.TAYLOR, right here in studio with TK, Rocky Stucci. Right here we got multi-award winning artist, producer. I always wanted to be a professional producer. Don't tell Ryan I said that, though. You know what I mean?
I won't.
I see the amount of work that he has to do, and I just want to show up when it's fun. You know, I don't want to do all the hard work. I mean, records, you're ambassador. Now you work in the music industry. You do an absolute ton. But I'm going to say something before. I know we don't have a lot of time, but just meeting your parents.
Thank you.
I was out there for 45 minutes talking with.
Phenomenal.
I wanted to get up on stage and start giving one of my speeches. You know, it's like you can feel the spirit grow when you talk to people like that. You know, it's just the amazing energy is outstanding. And then you meet brother, and it's just like,
you
get it.
You see mom and dad, and you get to talk to them, and you understand B.TAYLOR, right? And people, just so they know, B's dad is a veteran as well, U.S. military veteran. And also, I'll say he runs the biggest church in Las Vegas, but really probably mom is the one who keeps him on track. We know how that all works.
Every guy in the audience right now.
He's the one who gets all the kudos probably, but, you know, mom's running everything.
You know, it's funny you say that because my dad gets all the kudos from Mama Spaghetti, you know, from Mama Sauce. My dad acts like he made it, but he really didn't. So, but brother, thank you so much. I know you're busy. Folks, they literally just got off the plane, got in a vehicle, and came to the Country Network to meet up with us. So anybody who travels, they know kind of the wear and tear on the body that it takes. But you're here right now in Fort Worth because what's going on tonight?
Man, got a concert tonight at Tulips. I'm on this national tour called the Gloria Day Tour with America's Got Talent finalist Chapel Hart.
Phenomenal.
Phenomenal. One of the is the first group on NBC, America's Got Talent, to get a gold buzzer with all the hosts as well as all of the judges as well as the hosts pushing the button. So, you know, they're coming up, man. They're on their new tour. Put me on the tour. You got Lucas Hodge, another country singer, and has a hunting show called the Hog Wild Hunting Show. And then we got a girl, Roosevelt, who's absolutely phenomenal opener. So we're on this national tour. We kicked off January 26th. And I'm here with my brothers, man, in Fort Worth. You're at the Tulips.
Celebrity Game alumni, by the way.
Yeah,
B.TAYLOR has played in the Celebrity Games with us at Global Life.
Yeah, TK's the man.
So
he's
played with us before.
Were you at the last one?
Nope, I wasn't.
Not this year. He was traveling. But the first year Global Life Field, he came out and played.
Awesome, man. Yep. TK put a great event.
Thank you.
You want somebody to get everybody together?
That's a man.
Boom, TK.
Well, that's what it is, right? Family reunion. But
it's a man who builds bridges.
And also talking with you, what you guys are doing with Crazy Heart too. They're special country group, right? Because Dolly Parton actually didn't she take them under her wing?
Yeah, she stamped and they did a re-edition of her song called "You Can Have 'Em, Jolene." And when they did that on The Voice, that's when they got the gold buzzer and blew them up. And she called into the show and stamped, Chapel Hart, and it went #1. Their remake went #1 on the charts and stuff, and so it's just phenomenal. We got the same background. They're preachers' kids. Their dad's a preacher and pastor, come from a small town in Mississippi.
You know, when I watch those shows and I see somebody do really good on stage, especially somebody with the background, you know, there's somebody that's kind of gone through some adversity and they're like, they fought through it just for that one time, for that one opportunity, for that one audition.
Yep.
And then they do really good, and then they pan over to the parents.
Right.
The parents will be like backstage, and I see the parents crying. I'm done for a week.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm hiccup crying, brother. I'm hugging people I don't know just because I'm a little caught up.
That's why we call him the emotional meatball.
Yep.
I mean, he'll be crying before your mom and dad leaves here today. I promise you.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
He'll be hugging them, and he might be riding with you. I don't know. He might be going next destination with you by the time it's over with.
We got things to do. We can start our docu-series early. You know?
For sure.
So tell everybody a little bit about your background, where you come from. I mean, you've got such just an unbelievable, exceptional, awesome story.
Thank you.
Again, just with your parents and what your dad has done in the corporate world forever with Caterpillar, and just kind of coming up through that, and just having unbelievable great parents as mentors to you as well. And then from there, you went to go play college football.
Yeah,
and so we'll just started right there.
Yeah, so I grew up back in Peoria. Dad worked for Caterpillar. Was a high school football and basketball. Got an engineering scholarship and sports scholarship to University of Missouri.
Mizzou, baby.
Mizzou, man. Tigers played football and basketball there. Decided to transfer from Missouri to like Florida State. They messed up my transfer with the NCAA clearinghouse, as I know TK is aware of. And so I tried to do ROTC for the Navy because I had met with the Navy, said, hey, you can play sports because you have a chance to go on future. We're professional to get a shot. So I did that. That got messed up. And so having parents, my dad, when I, tested into the Navy, because I had tested into the nuclear engineering and the aviation.
So you're starting out a little light.
Yeah, light. So I was tested in there, but I wanted the ROTC, and they messed it up. So my dad was like, look, just keep your mouth shut. Do what you've always done. Just stay squared away and don't say anything. God will pan it out.
Can I ask you something, brother? What does it mean when, your brothers kind of give you a hard time and tell you that, I probably won't make it through boot camp? Is that a good thing?
No, yeah, man, I was over my division, and that was like, because I was always a leader, but like TK can tell you, when you go through and you got all these group of men, and as for women too, from different backgrounds, TK will tell you man, I had never been with guys from Compton. Like my bunkmate was from Compton and grew up in the streets of Compton. And you're over this unit, you got 100 and something people. And so it was crazy in there, and they put me over the division. So when I called my dad, I was hoarse. I'm like, Dad, I played sports. I was a quarterback. I did this, but this is a little different. I said, what do I do? He said, pray. Yeah. That's all he said. He said to me,
well, you
was
can always
pray.
tell if your dad or mom were prior military, because they're the only ones ever used the word squared away.
Right. Yeah, Dad was
so
prior
kind of like
Army,
with my kids, I'm always like, man, get yourself squared away.
Yes,
like
sir.
People, when you hear somebody say squared away, you're like, you were military?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you were military.
I would be like, Dad, pray for what? Is something bad going to happen to me, or pray for answers? I'm confused on your.
Yeah, he told me to pray for answers and the safety. So I did that, and in the middle of boot camp, that's when the Secretary of the Navy and the higher ups started finding out I was an athlete, and it started resonating for me, graduating, then meeting the Chief of Naval Operations, touring the Secretary of the Navy. It started panning out, and they're like, look, you have a critical rating. We're going to let you go to war, but we're going to if you stay squared away, we'll pull you back early. Where do you want to be stationed at? San Diego, Chicago, or Jacksonville? That's where they have football teams, because I told the SecNav I want to get a shot at playing to the NFL, because he had originally wanted me to go to the Naval, asked me did I want to go to the Naval Academy, and I didn't want to give that many years. So I ended up doing that, and they said, okay, we're going to pull you back. We'll put you on TAD to play on the All-Navy and Team USA basketball team, and then where do you want to go? So I went to San Diego. I'm there for the first week. I'm there. This is so crazy. So I'm on TAD orders, and so I needed to get an agent. So I went out the first night we were there. The second night we were there, I ended up meeting Junior Seau, and he introduced me to Ray Lewis. And he was in Pacific Beach. And Seau was like, hey, I'm going to get you with somebody and get you an agent, get you someone. So I ended up getting a meeting with Brad DeLuiso, who was the kicker for the Giants, who's at Smith and Barney. And they wrote the letter to the Chargers, to the Spanos family, to get me an agent and get me a tryout to work. So I ended up going over to the Chargers facility, befriending a lot of the players and everything, getting an agent, going back and working, getting ready to work out for football, and as well as service. Well, what happened is that following weekend, I go to L.A. with my buddy. We'd never been to Hollywood. We were off, like, let's go. I hadn't been there a week yet. Go to Hollywood. We're in the studio section. I'm in the studio, and so I'm playing the piano. The engineer's in there. He's like, hey, man, somebody famous, his brothers, they just heard you play. You want to meet him? So I mean, a guy comes with me, big hair. I didn't know who he was. He's like, hey man, that's my mom's favorite song.
Oh.
And you play? I said, yeah, I play 4 instruments, but I'm in the military.
Play
trying
4 instruments.
Yeah.
His mom and dad, yeah.
Church
Yep.
boy. So I'm like, man, I'm gonna go play these. I'm going to football, working out to make it in football, and I'm in the Navy. He said, no, I want you to come meet my brother and my mom. I go meet, it's Snoop's brother, Bing, and I meet his mom, Beverly, and Snoop Dogg. Exhibit was the whole cast, and they was like, hey, that's my mom's favorite song. Will you play for her wedding and birthday?
Wow.
And that's how it all.
Get out.
He called the bass. Next thing you know, man, I'm playing at Snoop's mom's birthday the following Saturday. And then I played at her wedding, and it kind of Snoop took me in as his little brother with Bing, his real brother.
Wow.
And that's what I was doing. So, at that point, the command was like, the higher-ups was like, are you kidding? This guy's got the second half. How in the world did you meet Snoop? And then that led me to meeting the Motown legends.
Can I say the relevance in all this, because it's something you're working with me on right now, is your response from your dad.
Yeah.
When you were in boot camp,
Yep.
Dad, okay, I'm in the corner. The world's coming at me. I don't know what to do. I'm confused with my situation. Dad, what do I do? Pray, son.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there thinking, because it was almost verbatim what he said to me.
Yeah.
And
TK.
because I struggle, right?
Right.
I struggle. And I never use prayer as my outlet. And it's amazing because the prayer is giving me answers is why we're all three together right now.
Yes, sir.
So beautiful story, brother.
Thank you.
Beautiful story. And plus, what was Snoop's mom's wedding like? Was it?
Man, dude, like I played at the birthday. I was so nervous. It was like El DeBarge was there, and Lenny was these at the first part of the birthday. So I got that right. But then they asked me for the wedding, and this is Snoop's mom's wedding,
Yep.
and I got that together to play at it. But it was so cool because his mom, rest in heaven to Beverly.
Yeah.
She passed a couple years ago. She was a reverend too. So Snoop grew up in church. So it was like I was lining up with other PK, and they understood me. And Snoop really took care of me, and his brother Bing, and their family. His older brother left, and Uncle Junebug, and it's kind of like I grew up underneath. I was in the Navy, but I was growing up underneath Snoop's family, and it opened the door for me to understand how the music business, because I had never been in a studio. I'm from Peoria, Illinois.
Right.
We didn't have studios there, so at the time. So it was really a blessing, but I was blessed to have my dad, like you said, to say pray and stay focused. I feel like if I didn't have my parents there, my direction would have been off because I would have been frustrated. Man, I didn't transfer. NAAC clearance messed out. I'm not joining this Navy. I would have been just messed up, But having Pops there to say, look, pray.
A different answer could have changed the course.
Could have changed the course of my whole career.
Well, that's why it's so important to have that positive role model in your life.
Right.
And like what I do with Big Brothers Big Sisters, and I know you've been involved with Big Brothers Big Sisters and helping young boys and young girls who might not have that mom or dad in their life. Big Brothers Big Sisters will step in and provide a mentor to help them out through the way. And that's really success is all by design, right?
Right.
So I always say that to everybody, no matter what's going on, success is by design.
Yep.
It's really who the people that are designing you.
Right.
And it usually starts with your parents. If your parents are like your parents, or fortunate enough like my parents that even though divorced, but we're still right there to kind of guide and lead you.
Right.
And then like, okay, I don't know anything about music business. I know how to play piano. Okay, now you got Snoop going.
Right.
Let me show you how to do this.
Yeah.
And then you went in and started working with Motown. Tell us some of your Motown
So the legend.
stories.
So after Snoop, I remember. So I played this. Bing got me. We went up to Snoop's house and we were playing basketball. So it was like all of Bing, us young guys against like Snoop. It was Exhibit, Master P, the East Siders. It was like a basketball game at the house. So Bing was like, look, I said, Bing, I got some music on a CD. I'm going to play it for Snoop in the studio. He said, okay, man, I'm going to get it for you, but you ready? I said, yeah. So we go and Snoop's playing loud music. They're sitting there playing cards or whatever. He puts the CD in and they let me play the CD. It was like, and then Snoop was like, turn that off, So
he didn't say it just like that, though, did he?
No. He was like,
Okay.
turn. He said, what in the world? I said, man, I have a motif, Snoop. I'm how to play. No, let me let you hear something. And so he was playing it from Dr. Dre,
Yeah, man.
And it was like, he was like, look, You need to get the equipment. Take your military, your football money, get the equipment.
Yep.
Don't you ever bring anything like this in here again. They
Amen.
threw the CD in the garbage and said, Bing, Bing was like, I told you, and so I went and got that stuff. And that prepared me to meet Pete Moore of Smokey and the Miracles. So when that time came, Mr. Moore said, hey, I want to hear some stuff. And when he heard it he only played 45 seconds of 2 songs. He said, I seen your letters from the military. I seen all this, your background. You're what us, the first group of Motown, the Miracles, been looking for. I know we want to pass you the legacy. You're our swan song. Next thing you know, I call my dad. I'm like, Dad, I got to choose between this and sports. And all my buddies was like, look, man, you play sports, you're never going to get to work with the Motown Miracles, the founders of Motown. And so I ended up taking that. They met my parents. He took me in the studio, signed me, changed my career. My first studio session, I was in the studio. In one room was B.B. King.
Oh, jeez.
And then my session, I had Joe Jackson, Pete Moore, Cuba Gooding of the Man Green, Pete Moore of the Miracles, Bobby. He got Aretha on the thing to talk to me about the breathalyzer, Aretha Franklin. I didn't know where I was at. I knew where I was at, but I didn't know.
The thing about
You're having
Motown,
out of body experience.
Yeah.
the thing
right.
about Motown is that these are all proven and will stay in history forever. The greatest,
Right, the
great-
greatest.
Not new age people where maybe
Yes.
they'll do okay, maybe they won't. These are
Right.
people like Michael Jackson or Prince.
Right.
They will never go
No.
extinct. Their music will always be around.
And
you know?
Michael came through Motown.
I still listen to Jackson 5. You know,
Yeah,
I still
they
listen.
came.
Who doesn't?
Yeah.
Who doesn't listen to him?
And no, you're right. And I
Or
learned
like
from them.
Temptations or those are my guys.
Right.
Rich Street and the Temps. I
Yep,
mean, they
and
were
Otis,
they were great
William
friends of
Otis,
mine.
Sullivan.
And
You know,
yeah.
and Snoop, when he came and critiqued your CD, the way you explained it, it's like he knew exactly what he was doing.
Right, he
By
did.
because he was creating an impact, an emotional impact to because I understand now, and it took me a lot of years to understand the importance of quality.
Right. And he gave it to me
Yes.
straight up. And thank God I had a dad that was, like TK said, we had fathers that were military and disciplined. I had coaches like that. And then I went to the military where I had that because Snoop was straight up. He was like, don't play this. This is horrible. And I think a lot of artists can't hear that now. They're like, oh, I'm good. No, you go take it to A-listers and Motown legends. You play that stuff about people who really have 35 albums and thousands of hits,
Right.
not like one or two, like thousands. They told me, this is not going to work.
That's right.
And you need to do that. And so I'm glad I was, able to follow that and, sign. It was the beginning, too, is why I always commend TK, too, for how he helps with our military and veterans. Because when I went to sign and I was at that conference table for Universal, I never forget, my mom would tell you, they told me, oh, this is not going to work. You got these letters, the military crossed with Motown, with hip-hop, pop culture, and being a poster boy for the military. That's not going to work. And I was like, look, don't sign me then. I'll walk out. Oh, the song's not going to work. Don't sign me. But now, years later, 3 #1 records, performing for presidents, doing tours, working with some of the big. I'm still with the DOD,
Department of
with
Defense
the
on a regular basis.
VA, and the chairman, Joint Chiefs, and being able to do all these accolades. Well, I took my chances, and I'm glad I stuck to what my guns is, who I was, because they were trying to change me on going a different route.
I need to point all this out. I need to point out 2 things. Is they were trying to change you.
Yeah.
I need people to listen exactly to what was just said, because we live in that world where everybody is trying to mold you into their perception of reality,
Right.
good, bad, or indifferent. And in this industry, I'm familiar with it. I used to
Right.
be in it. It can be very vile. It can be dangerous. It can be cutthroat and manipulative. And everybody's telling you what's best for you. And to isolate yourself and to stay strong and to believe in what you've done and what you've created is a huge testament.
Thank you.
Because most people can't walk their own path. And I say that so respectfully, and that's why we're doing this show, is we're trying to get more people to do so.
No, and I appreciate that, because that's what they tried to get me to do, publicity stunts and all these things. And
That's right.
like TK said, with his your relationship with your parents, I knew that it wasn't about me. What about my mom and dad, who's had a great life and done the right thing? What my brothers and sisters? Yeah, I'm over here. I do some publicity stunt. They change me up. It's not even my background. It will affect not just me, but it hurts and kills my parents knowing that they didn't do that. So in my head, I was like, you know what? to my parents, to all those military. TK knows to get admirals and generals and 4-stars to sign letters and support you is like hard and the hardest thing in the world.
You
to
always
do.
have a better chance to get a president.
Yeah,
Sign yourself and then have all those
to
guys
have
go
those
sign.
guys all signed. So I knew if I stayed focused and represented those who were supporting me, my parents, and then the legacy of Motown. As well, Motown's legacy. I couldn't go in there and mess up the Miracles. You don't have any bad stuff about Smokey or Claudette and the Miracles. So in my head was like, all right, it might take a longer path for me to get there, but I'm gonna be happy and I'm gonna do the right thing instead of changing this, telling me it doesn't work. And I told him, I said, every time I do something, I'm going to have military veterans and first responders. They were like, oh, well, you don't have to pay nothing. They're coming through me. Like, you guys, they're coming on the carpets. They're coming to the events. We're not putting them up there. I want to introduce them when I perform. So I'm changing the narrative. And so now what's so cool is Snoop. He finally got to meet my parents, like, right before the pandemic. We hosted together. Finally, we hosted, and he was saying, man, Mom, he was, like, hugging Mom, Dad. It was, like, all love. He was like, man, B never changed. And, Snoop's one of the biggest iconic, well-known, for everyone knows, white, black, country. When you're talking about the level of the artist, he's bigger as a face, than any other artist. When you're talking, his songs are like Christmas carols.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
They're like part of culture. And so for him to come and host, and his brother was still tight, said he never changed. B always stuck to who he was, Mom and Pop. He respected Dad and Mom. It was just an honor because I didn't change.
And it goes back to two things, right? Number one, that he and I have the same conversation all the time. Number one, stay prayed up.
Yep.
Right. Number two, it goes back to success is by design, right?
Yep.
So you got the Motown that's going, look, we're basically all these 50 years of what we've done and learned and trial and error. We're basically going to condense down how to get you from A to Z quicker. Right. Like you're getting the encyclopedia of all of our information.
Yes, sir.
While you're here with us, and we're going to teach you how to keep carrying on our legacy. Right,
TK.
And so again, it went about success again, but by design. You had the designers showing you this is how we're going to help you, right? And at the same time, you come from a background where your parents have taught you faith and again, just staying the course and staying in the fight. And, that's probably the number one thing I've learned from my mom is the faith side of it. Right. Because, she could will anything to happen.
Right.
We're broke, we're this, we're that. It always shows up, right? We're broke, all of a sudden money comes in. My whole life has been like that. It's ups and downs. It's great. You have highs, you have lows. Like, nobody just stays on the top. And it just, you're on the top. Like, man, it's a constant battle. And the more that you do have Christ with you and angels are surrounding you, the more that you're always under attack too. Right. And that's why I don't think a lot of people understand, like, you can't be over here without over here. No. So you can't, the more you're over here and the more blessings God's giving you, the more people are trying to pull you down. Right. Which is kind of what you were talking about. You had God's giving me these blessings, but now I got people saying, nah, you need to be over here. Right, TK. Right. And that's kind of what people got to pay attention sometimes, that they in human form sometimes, and they're not trying to per se hurt you. Right. But they're trying to use your talents for their best benefit, not your best benefit. Right, which we deal with on a daily basis.
And that's all in, like he was saying, in the music business. It's true. Like, no, you don't need to be with the Motown legends. They're too old. Or, again, the military, we don't earn veterans. That's corny. Nobody's going to accept that. I'm like, I'm thinking in my head, and TK knows he served. This is the biggest organization on the planet Earth.
Right. Best fraternity
the best fraternity to be in. There's nothing bigger than the Department of Defense, second VA. Them are the two biggest budgets authorizations in the world that control planet Earth. So I'm like, man, why would I go against that and ruin my whole life? Right. You know what I'm saying? And for them, for what they allowed me to do. And so TK said they tried to pull me, and that's what I tell kids, or we're telling people that's out there, stay your course. No matter what, good always wins. Like TK says, you can do all this negative things all you want when you're younger, get these stunts, but you're not thinking about your future with your kids and your family when you get older, and those things come back to haunt you when you're sitting at a meeting because you did all this negative image stuff, and now a person like TK, your brand, a person like TK
have a brand, as you're growing up, that's your name.
And you meet someone that TK, he comes in like, man, I like you. I'm going to get you with the chairman of Walmart. Now you get that opportunity. Walmart people do their due diligence, and you got this negative thing that happened 5 or 6 years ago. Nope, we don't want to touch it. And you might have changed. but it's still
Well, even like
good.
TK, I'm not. Once I find out,
Right.
I'm going. Well, I can't really take you to Walmart
Right,
because
exactly.
you're a risk.
Right.
Because I already know
right.
what Walmart's going to be like. TK, why are you bringing this person? To
Right,
us?
exactly,
Because of this.
T.
No matter how much I try to sell it.
Yep.
On hey, he's a good person now, or she's a good person now.
Yes.
What you did growing up in high school or
Yep.
college, or
Yep.
when you're a young kid,
Yeah.
that's still going to come back on.
Coming
you.
back on.
There will
Right.
be a day where your past will come back,
Right.
to remind you it
And there's
exists.
always, again, everybody's got, those pasts.
Stuff
And there's
happens.
always a way to fix it.
It
But,
is.
just the problem is it takes you longer.
Right.
Because you always have a cloud
Right.
around your brand. Right? No matter what. There's
Right.
always something.
Right.
And so it just takes, you sometimes have to now take the harder route and
My
longer
dad-
route
Yep.
because of little bitty things you did down here
Exactly.
that at the time didn't seem like it would be a big deal.
But now
But
it's
once
a big
it's
deal.
public and on record, and nowadays with
Oh,
social
social
media,
media.
internet,
Gee.
there's stuff I got away with growing up.
Yeah.
Thank God for
Right.
no
Yeah.
internet.
No, for
so
sure,
you can't
TK.
find me.
For
Right?
sure,
Some of the
TK.
things we did, but
Right.
and then you
Snoop
look
told
back-
me that too.
Yeah.
Snoop, he was a big, and I befriended Ray J. I did one of
Yeah.
Ray J's first hits, and I was around when Ray had the sex tape going
Right.
with Kim. That was
Yeah.
different, and my mom was like, "Look, that's not you," and she told Ray at the video, she's like, "That's not my." The quiet lady was like, "I love this, but that's not my son,
Yeah.
and that's not you." And Ray respected that, but he always told me too, "Nah, man, keep your brand.
Yep.
You got that brand.
Stay humble.
Stay humble." My dad say you can make mistakes, have a cloud on your head, but don't keep carrying that cloud.
Right.
That's how you got to keep us humble, brother.
Yeah, you move on. Hey, mistakes happen.
Right, yeah,
And how do you
exactly.
get rid of mistakes? By proving
Proving
yourself over
over
here.
here.
By keep moving up.
Moving up.
And keep pushing forward. And, again, going back to your parents, just such unbelievable great people.
Thank you,
that
TK. Thank
like
you.
Rocky said, you guys, just so you know, again, B.TAYLOR, the family team flew in here literally 2 hours ago.
Yep.
Came straight to the studio. Me and Rocky's in here trying to get the studio even ready at this point, so we could do something here to kick it off here. But we probably spent 2 hours talking to
Yeah.
mom and dad and everybody
Yeah.
before we even we're literally like we're
We
running
had a
out of
whole
time.
show
Get him in here.
before the show. We
we're-
should have
get
recorded
him
everything.
in here, or we're never going to get. He's not going to run out of time here. So, but again, even going back to that, and you and I had this discussion, being veterans.
Right,
I've been a celebrity events where the same thing. People are like, "Can you bring veterans?"
Right.
But it's always like, what are we using the veterans for?
Right, TK.
Is it your
right.
dog and pony show?
Right,
Is it
TK.
where are they sitting at? Where they
Right,
go to be
TK.
at? Where
Right,
they go to?
TK.
You get stadiums. All these pro teams
Right.
drive me nuts across the nation because they're like, oh, we want to honor our veterans, and
Right.
we're going to give 2 tickets.
Right.
Or we're going to show you one person, or
Right.
we're going to stick them up in the grandstands.
Right.
We're going to give 20 tickets, and they're all in the grandstand,
Grandstands, right.
And it's like, wait a minute. So
How many tickets did you give away for Celebrity Game last year to veterans? 5,000?
easily 5,000.
Easy.
To veterans, families, first responders. That's what these games are for, right? The reality is, the selfish part for me personally
Right.
is this family reunion time.
Yep.
Right.
Because
Exactly.
you have everybody's traveling, everybody has
Yep.
careers going on, everything's going on. But it's the one time a year we can all get together and hang
Yeah.
out for a weekend,
Yep.
catch up, just hug each other, expand our brands. Individuals get to come and meet other people.
Yeah. I
love it. I love
And
it.
that's
Yes,
how it always
awesome.
works anyway. That's how I met B. Is still a
Yeah.
good friend of ours, Natasha Moy, is out in
Yep.
Phoenix. She's
Phoenix.
like, you got to meet B.
Yeah.
And
she was
that's
like,
how
you
we
got to
met
meet
years ago,
TK.
She's
so,
like,
like,
so and again, and then it becomes family thing, right?
Yeah.
But the flip side of it is the way I look at it is once the event's paid for and the money's there, I don't care about ticket sales.
Right.
I'm not trying to make more. Like we're trying to just cover the cost of the event, and people don't realize. Like the last one we just did, I was telling B like that was $200,000 just for that, just the game.
Plus, you gave a house away.
We gave a house away
yeah.
with helping a hero, and
Yep.
so it's kind of like, okay, great, we're good. Now, like, let's just get everybody we can into the stands and have some fun. Because the other side of it, too, like with Big Brothers Big Sisters we talked about, or these veteran organizations, a lot of families don't have the money to go to a big league
right.
game.
That's right.
So
Right.
the
Right.
fact that they get to come to Globe Life Field,
Right.
where the Texas Rangers play, a new stadium for the most part, because it's
Yeah.
only a couple of years old, to get to come there with your family at no cost. You're going to be spending money on concession stands. Like, even
Right.
if you get tickets free, you probably still would drop $50, $100
Yeah,
just in
easy,
concessions
that's
easily,
easy,
right?
that's right.
So it's like, well, look, let's just at least get mom and dad and the kids there so they can come and enjoy, have the atmosphere, enjoy the experience,
Right.
without it costing $500 or maybe not even getting to come because
Right.
it's just too
It's too
expensive,
much.
right? So that's where we try to do with the games is really just give it back to the community and the public to come in and have fun. But again, the celebs that come and play in it, we have nothing more fun than we just want to hang with the fans,
Right.
with the little kids.
Right.
You know, I mean, there's so many different organizations we work with those games, from Children's Cancer Fund and Helping a Hero, and I mean, just organizations on
Miracle
and on
League.
and on.
All the Miracle League family showed up this year.
It's just all the above,
awesome.
right? But that's what those games are for, right? But that's what B does when he's out on tour. You know, he goes to every city going, great, I'm here, but I'm in Fort Worth. Where can I get my veterans to come and enjoy the show tonight? Right. Now I'm here. Where's the veteran community at in this location that we can get them out to come hang out and enjoy what we're doing, right?
And do them right. Like he said, before I do the song, they're up on the stage at the high point of the concert.
Yeah.
They're backstage so
What a
they
cool
can
feeling.
meet Chapel Hart, Lucas Todd, they can get food if there's food. It's not like they're here and then I'm just like TK said, you know, just here real quick and it's like a blur. And so that's what I wanted to been doing with my Heroes experience through the NFL, through these different Major League Baseball, during the touring and stuff, and working with TK, you know, since he was speaking about it, you know, I presented the video, my new single with Chapel Hart, We Are, and J. Michael Harder, the country singer, We Are One, and TK was around when I shot that. You know, I shot that during the pandemic, which TK can vouch for, to get all of the sign-offs, to get all 5 branches, the U.S. Homeland Security with the Coast Guard, to get the Veterans Office to shoot inside a VA hospital, to get first responders, and then we shot with the Tampa Bay NFL in the bubble. So to get all of that done at a time where there was a pandemic shutdown.
90% of the world will say that's unachievable.
Period.
About 99%.
99.
Because that's about what it was. It was almost a 99%. It's almost. I just watched a movie last night called 14 Peaks. It's phenomenal. If you like that type of motivational. But this young man from London, but grew up in Nepal, he climbed all 14 peaks in 7 months, which is it took. I think the record was like 9 years, something like that. He did them it's an incredible movie of this guy. Well, his whole thing was the impossible possible. Right. And everybody would tell him why you can't.
Right.
And his mindset is why I can. Right. And that's what the movie is about. And it's just a phenomenal movie. I mean, Jessica was like, I don't know if I want to watch this. And then she's like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad we watched that because it's so inspirational. Right. So the same thing like what you're doing where it's like, man, we can't do this now.
Yeah, they told me, you know, it's a shutdown. The label didn't help. This is me going straight. I got text. Captain Hicks was in the chairman's office. I let him hear the song. I got with Caroline Bass in the public affairs. And she said, this is a great thing. And then all of a sudden, it's going. The thing about the military, it's either a no, but once it start moving, you're on a chain thread with generals and admirals, it's a different. You better be squared away, because it was within a 24-hour period, it was a chain, green lit. Boom, boom. And then you're dealing with each branch public affairs. So you're dealing with the public affairs of Air Force, public affairs with the Army.
It's a lot of tape, man. A lot of tape.
It's so ridiculous, bro.
And we got it done. And TK, beside the Super Bowl, was the first to view it where they played it. It wasn't played, and so I didn't release it all the way. And I said, let me wait, because when we did the Super Bowl, I had T.O., Terrell Owens, my buddy. He introduced me at the Super Bowl at the pregame, and they played a minute of the pregame. But it was like 8,000 first responders that had shots in there, but it was not the whole community to be done right. So I said, let me wait. Okay, I got this Heroes Experience partnership with the NFL where I'm taking troops and vets to the NFL experience, VIP and all this. I'm going to wait to the right timing. So I didn't do it in L.A. because I knew Snoop and Dre, that was their moment.
And plus, you're not getting any press with them.
Right I mean,
there.
So they were so big. So it was like, okay, this is L.A. Then it was Scottsdale. I was like, no, let me wait. And then when I found out it was Vegas, I said, this is the time now, and bringing all that together with what our country is representing and putting this together. Now, TK, I'm going to work with TK, bring the DOD letters, and we're going to put a stack on the front office desk to say, this doesn't cost you any money. I want to perform this song. I already got the approval to work with the Department of Defense, the military band. We can get the troops lined up, all the veterans and first responders to line up in unison and perform it with the NFL choir and honor us the correct way.
So B calls me, and he was like, hey, TK, I got this idea. Number one, I'm coming to Fort Worth. Number two, I got this idea. And how do we expand this idea? Right. And we started talking about, well, again, you're in Vegas, And it's always God's perfect time.
Yeah, right.
So you're in Vegas, and I'm like, oh, Super Bowl's in Vegas. Well, your dad has the largest church in Vegas. Yeah, okay, we got to get the NFL. Regardless, the NFL choir's got to perform at your dad's church on Sunday morning.
Amazing.
On Super Bowl Sunday, we got to get them all there. We're going to call Tom Harris and the boys and let them know and, like, get them there, right?
Right.
That was first thing. Then it was like, then B was like, I wonder if we could get the NFL choir to actually sing with us pregame at the Super Bowl. Like, how can you not? Those guys are the guys that built NFL.
Right.
Right? Those are the guys that came before that has built for all these guys here. And, you know, so we got to get them guys involved. Right. And then for what he's doing with Chapel Creek and everybody he's doing, all the things. I keep wanting to say Chapel Hill, coming from North Carolina last week.
Right.
So, anyway, but you know, everything he's doing, then it was like, okay, what else do we need? How much bigger can we get? Because the DOD is going, hey, look, we're already giving money here. We're already doing things.
Right.
Like, but we want to get it bigger.
Bigger, because they said, I told him when I sat there with Admiral Kirby, who was the press secretary for the Pentagon, but now he's the head of national security. And I told, I said, and I had the thing, and I was like, and I told everyone, I'm saying, the way they honor us, and TK knows, that little flyover, that's been 57 years, a wave of hands, holding the flag, that's not the diversity of the military. That was good for when it was. And this, how you not, NFL, going to allow us to do this song when you're engaged in, you're in this song, and it's got all the branches.
Right.
You just seen what first responders did to save Damar Hamlin's life. The song is called "We Are Love, Love Is All We Need." Damar Hamlin's T-shirt, his sign is a heart. So why wouldn't it be the right way to do it the right way? And it's not costing you guys any money.
100%.
Me and TK, we don't need you to bring the band. We don't need you to fill the stadium with vets and troops and first responders.
Just give us our passes. We'll handle everything else.
We'll have
You know,
We'll take everything else.
sometimes things can be so simple and everything is so aligned that it seems to make you uncomfortable because we have turned so many things into this big process instead of keeping it simple.
Right. Most organizations they really muddy the water on a lot of things.
Right.
You know, there's not a lot of common sense anymore. I can only imagine the thread you were on.
Oh.
Because there's everybody's talking amongst each other. So I mean, you can't even get a personal email in because you just got like 500 emails going back and forth. I can only imagine that, you know, what took place there. But, you know, again, B's got such a big thing on his heart. Like, hey, look, I want to get back. I want to use my talents that God's given me to do great things. I've got great people around me that are helping me. And, you know, and again, like everything else, when your light's trying to shine, there's always people trying to turn that light bulb on.
Oh, we feel that.
And that's why it's always the pushback.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it's like,
we're not
going to push. No. We're not pushing back. We're going to slug you out and come right through. We're coming through. Right.
And this timing is now with TK. You know, I knew when I said, okay, it's Vegas, I can get this. The song is released. We're on. Chapel Heart is like the first black girl country group since
Chapel
the
Heart. God, I think it's Chapel Heart. Yes.
Since the Pointer Sisters, they'd already performed as an African American 4 times at the Opry. So it's like they're hot. The whole message is there, and like you said, you add the choir and you cover that field. It's in Vegas. Governor, who was Sheriff Lombardo, holds his meetings at my father's church. He supports me. I text him all the time. He said, B, he's an Army vet. The Attorney General for the state of Nevada is member Aaron Ford of Dad's church. The Commissioner Weekly, member of the church. And I have the keys.
Okay, y'all sign this letter. It's going to Roger Goodell.
You know
that's quite the community.
Right. The community is already there. All of everybody knows, you know, what we're doing. And now the DOD say yes. Just let us know. Because they know they have the
DOD is going, we got a budget. Tell us how we can help. Right,
you know, and
so now it's just going back over here. But then the bigger thing is like, okay, look, you've been doing things with the NFL, now MLB,
right?
Now NBA. Like we need to take this to
everybody,
all the organizations.
Yes, TK.
We need to take this on we got to start thinking bigger.
Right.
And then even like with tell everybody about your Life One.
One Life. So my One Life nonprofit organization, I stayed in Lane, created in 2016. Before it was about, I was helping.
We got our sweet gear today.
Yeah, thank you for wearing it, guys. And I got the phrase, "We are one, love is all we need." And so I created this in 2016, where it was just basically I was paying. We pay bills for military and veterans, first responders, give them a house, help them furnish a house, things like that. I had the Heroes Experience taking them games, but then back in about 2019, Congressman Bilirakis on the VA, vice chair of the VA committee, brought me in to be on this task force. He said, look, you got sports, you played in that, you're in music, and you're dealing with the higher-ups of us at the, you're a bridge, so we got this mission act, the cover act that was signed that says vets can choose how they want to heal through music therapy, alternative therapy, which was down in line with me being in help, playing a musician and sports. So I started to create these programs. So now we got music, art, therapy, art, yoga, martial arts, animal therapy. So we partnered with TB12, Tom Brady, so vets and troops who can't afford $500 a session. We got them, taking them through those programs. We partnered with EOS Fitness, so I'm doing about 50, starting off this year, 50 veterans get free, and military get free memberships, and first responders. So I got guitar lessons. So I stayed in line with what I was about the post-growth and using the wellness, and got counseling from my dad if they want to come and get prayed for a ministry. So I have all these programs with the heroes, and so that's what One Life, and the big thing, like he said, my heroes program is taking them to the grant, taking them to the games, being there with me. That is why my dad said God put me. He didn't put me here to make hit records. That's your fruition's talent's going to come. He put me here for a message. And so I felt like if I'm down on that stage or I'm doing Super Bowl, forget the halftime. Where's my brothers and sisters like TK that wore this uniform who will never, ever get a chance to do something? And so when I take these guys to Super Bowls and I go shop. Get you guys football, you guys VP. They're looking at these veterans from U.S. vets, and wounded warriors. They're like, shop, get you a ball. This your day. You guys get that, and they're like, no one's ever done that. Why are you doing this?
Most time you just show up, kind of stand over
there
until we're ready for a picture.
No, and they come. I got them all inside.
So should we go ahead and tell him the surprise now, real quick?
Well, can I throw something in before we just drift away from that and then take it? When I was up north, I started an organization called the Patriot Riders. Not Patriot Guard, similar though, very similar. I'm a very independent guy, and I wanted to do programs that the big corporate national organization didn't want to deal with. They wanted to do just the KIAs coming home. I wanted to be veterans too, police officers, firefighters, first responders. And I started a program called the Vietnam Vet Welcome Home Program, literally where we just go to a VFW or a Legion. We would find Vietnam vets, get them up on stage, give a speech. And to end the speech, I would always be the one ending it. And I'm the only non-vet that the VFW ever let go on their stage because they're very strict about that. And my last words of my speech to them and their family was, welcome home. And to watch a guy 50-plus years later fall to his knees to hear 2 words, welcome home. That sits in my soul, brother. I mean, my dad, we had to fool my dad because he's so proud. These Vietnam vets, they're a stubborn class of people,
Yes, they are.
We had to trick them to get them to work. Like, so when you talked about, go buy a football, I felt humility. Like they felt wrong by being treated like that.
Well, they're the same way. They're, our veterans are the same way, like,
in a very humble way.
We're not deserving.
Yes.
Right. That's really their mindset is like, we did it. We did this because we want to serve our nation.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
But we don't feel like we should get any special treatment because we served. And the reality is, no, you shouldn't.
You should.
You should get, you should get special
As
treatment.
a non-vet, it's my duty to make sure all you veterans understand that people such as myself as a citizen understand why I have what I have today. And it's because of people willing to give everything, including their life, to preserve what I have.
And those family members that are the backbone of this country.
Family.
You take out these
really
family
the
members.
Telling you.
That's the other side.
I my youngest was wanting to go after graduate college in the military as an officer, go to OTA. And he wanted to go into the 75th Ranger Regiment. And I said, here's the deal. Okay, when you graduate, you can do that, but you can't be married. Because you can't drag some poor female into your ambitions on what you want to go do to serve your country. And that's cool, but this ain't cool for her to be stuck at home. So if you're married and then you go, great, that's one thing. But if you're not married, then go do what you need to do. But because people have no idea how hard it is on these family members. The divorce rate is through the roof in the military because, and I don't blame a lot of wives and spouses that are like, this is your fifth deployment.
Yeah.
Right,
Like
right.
we haven't seen you in like 3 years.
3 years,
Like
right.
we have to worry every time you leave. Like, are you coming back in a box?
Well,
What are you
brother,
doing?
just me moving to Texas. Yeah, I'm a big family guy, Italian family. I just saw my mom and dad last week, and I cried like a 3-year-old leaving.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
People have no idea what
Right.
one
individual
single
sacrifice.
move.
Yeah.
Some of these military families are moving every other year.
Every year. I didn't talk to my parents for the first time in my life for over 12 months. They was just
Ooh.
telling my mom and dad whether I was alive or dead. And I never, you see, I never not talked to my mom and dad, man. And that was tough. TK, he's right.
Well,
my,
I
my-
mean,
my-
like you, I'm a little bit older than you, but so when I went to the Philippines, we didn't have internet. We didn't have cell phones. Right?
He's dating himself now. I'm just saying.
from 89 to 91, you wrote letters. You were so glad to receive a letter.
Wow,
We got to
TK.
call. I got to call home once a month, and it was a 15-minute call because it was a collect call from the Philippines home. So it was literally like, you're alive. Real
Right.
quick around the horn,
Yep.
everybody in the house. Yep,
Love
yep,
you.
yep. Love you,
Yep.
love you, love you, love you, love
Yeah,
you. Bye.
right, bye.
And check in with the world. But that was 2 years of that, right? And you're not going home at Christmas. I remember my first Christmas away.
Oh, yeah, TK.
You're just like, oh,
I know,
man.
TK.
You're
Yeah,
like,
TK. That killed me.
yeah, like it's just so hard being away.
Yeah,
And again, that wasn't even a wartime situation. That was just being deployed, right? That's not sitting on a cot in the middle of a war.
Yeah.
Being away at Christmas so
Right.
people just really, some people they kind of can understand it. Most don't.
No.
So it really frustrates me when you have, again, professional sports leagues that are making billions of dollars.
Right.
That, again, do appreciate the veteran in the military.
Right.
But it's like we're going to just, we want to give back, so we're going to do this, to kind of feel good about ourselves. When it's really like, if you really want to do something, give all the tickets to the game away to veterans.
Right. Like they did like TK said, when they did the 8,000 tickets, because those first responders had shots. That was it in the stadium. And now it's went back to regular. You're not giving 8,000 tickets to veterans, troops, and first responders. But I wanted to tell TK, one of my board members got a 5-year, starting in Vegas at Allegiant Stadium, 5-year Super Bowl contract. We already got the investors. It's going to be the One Life Lounge it holds 300. So this thing you're gonna see 100 plus troops and this is gonna be 4 troops and veterans, so that I can work with TK. We invite celebs, athletes. I can invite military officials to come in. This is gonna be the lounge.
How about a
for the
lonely
military.
radio host guy
You
back
too,
in the
you
corner?
too. No, for sure. Like
Bring
because
the camera and go
bring
live.
the camera
Yep.
because we
Yep.
need to. Not a USAA one where they give a couple tickets and then it's 290 of staff. I'm talking about there needs to be a suite.
Oh, I can have so
That
much
is
fun.
military and
Yeah.
veterans and first responders and military coming in their uniform, that we have a presence in there, not the color guard, not the I'm on the field because I'm in the color guard.
Well, there's a little bit of a cheat with that too sometimes, right? And it goes with any territory. They've
Right.
earned it. When you got the generals and the base commanders, and they're usually the guys that get to go enjoy the good
Right,
stuff.
right.
So like when NASCAR's in town,
Right.
it's usually the brass from JRB,
Right.
not
That
Right.
like the low enlisted TK guy,
TK,
like
right.
where, that poor guy's still sitting in the stands and got to buy his own ticket, right?
Right.
So there's still a lot of that, when B was like, TK, I want to get with you on this. I think there's an opportunity. I'm like, you know what? We need to go educate all these leagues.
Yep.
The DOD's willing to fund it.
Right.
They just don't have the time to go do the meetings that we need to go do to get those organizations back on track to go, hey, what can we do? How can we do it? There's nothing that disappoints me more than seeing, let's just say, the Rangers game, right? Baseball's hard. You got 81 home games.
Right.
It's hard to fill that 40,000 stands every game, right? But there's a certain point where you're going to know, like, we're going to only average X.
Right.
We're only averaging 30,000.
Right.
So we have 10,000 tickets sitting here. So my frustration, I've talked to the Rangers about it, is saying, look, you're making money off concession stands and parking if you give the tickets away for free.
Right.
Right.
Like, just give them away.
Right.
You still make some money off of them, but why would you have empty stands when there's a ton of Big Brothers, Big Sisters, Littles, all these people we could give these tickets away to, all these philanthropic organizations that can help bring people to this game, right? You might end up getting a person who might start buying tickets. But worst case scenario, you go get $100 out of them for concessions more than likely.
And a lot of those
parking.
people never had this experience because they can't afford it. People can't afford
Bro,
an
I
extra
never got to go to
$200-$300.
a pro game. Me and my brother, we went to a USFL game with my dad, probably 1983 or 4. Denver. It was the Denver Gold, and my dad somebody had given him 4 tickets, like from work, and that's why we went. And I remember we met Lynn Swan.
Yep.
He was walking up. He was doing the ABC hosting it, right? And Lenny Swan was coming up, and my little brother's diehard Pittsburgh fan in the 70s. I hated Pittsburgh. I was a diehard Cowboy, obviously. So my dad was like, hey, there's Lynn Swan. So I grabbed my brother, like, let's go. We're going to go grab him.
Right.
I'm like 12 or 13. Like, we're going. And I remember just Lynn stopped, and the time he took to talk to us was just life-changing, right?
Yeah.
And then probably my first Cardinal game, I was probably 15. And again, because somebody gave my mom tickets to go to Busch Stadium. So we never, if it wasn't somebody giving us tickets, we'd never got that experience.
Yeah, if we
Ever.
went to McDonald's, it was a luxury.
Oh,
that was like once every
you
3
got to
months
go to
type of
McDonald's.
thing.
We had to go to hamburger stand,
Yeah.
the generic McDonald's. We couldn't even go to McDonald's. Like, we're going to the 39-cent.
That was like a field trip when we were kids.
Oh, bro, phenomenal.
Now it's a way of life,
So real quick, too, so let's tell B the surprise.
Come on.
So we are going to also honor One Life at the game this year in a $10,000 donation back to your foundation from the Celebrity Game November 4th. So I'm so glad you committed to come earlier because we were waiting to say, I told Rocky, like, I hope B ain't on tour because if he is, it's going to be hard to give away a check.
You're going to be canceling.
Seriously,
No,
TK,
for real. No, you're going to be one of the groups,
Dang,
and then we'll
bro.
run everything on the stadium. And
Let me say this.
TK,
Yeah.
man,
So,
you guys rock. Thank you,
I've gotten
man.
to know TK. This is all TK. I've gotten to know him 4 years ago, and the reason I'm in Texas, because he built that bridge, and he took me on as a brother. He took me on as somebody who had potential, but was something different in real life too, right?
No.
And when you meet somebody like this, and I'm not shooting air, I don't shoot air up nowhere.
No.
When you meet somebody like this, and we hear about that, you need to surround yourself with what you want to be and become, and you see this true, sincere bridge building. But what really stands out is somebody like TK that has opportunities to do just about anything he wants. But yet I meet him every Saturday morning at Miracle League, where it's just me and him and these kids with disabilities. There is no reward to that, and that says a lot.
The best reward for that is I don't need my phone's off for 5 hours. Because I'm going to enjoy my time.
But I like
Miracle League.
TK. I knew that with Natasha, who's a board, advisory on One Life, and when I talked to TK, and that's why I knew if. My dad always preaches, whether 2 or 3 assemble in God's name, and he's in the midst to make it happen. And I knew with this, what TK and I are doing, and we're going to do with you, to do this at Super Bowl, it needs to be done. The timing is now. We can do it because between myself and TK and we know everybody.
Once we get it kicked off,
then
it's going to
flow. And if TK, if I don't use my brand in music and entertainment and connect to do that and work with TK and others, this won't happen for another 100 years because it's hard to get in a level in music to move that momentum. It's hard to get a person like TK who's filled. So if we don't do that, it's not going for veterans and military because it would have happened now. Like he said, the bureaucratic and getting at the table, oh, no, we can't do this. It's too many doors. But I know with myself and him, it's going to resonate because no one's going to. If the world knew that here's the video, here's the song, this is all included. You guys saw first responders, saw Damar Hamlin. You got Ukraine going on right now.
What do you think about first responders during COVID?
All
the hospital workers.
And the military. You had the military, Coast Guard. They all worked together.
And it was great during COVID, right?
Right.
Oh, here's our little commercial. Hey, shout out to you guys.
And then it goes away.
Over with,
it's like, boom, let's put you in the back.
Now we're back to normal.
Exactly. Right. And so they need to change the way. And I feel like We Are One is the theme song for NFL and all that because it represents everything. Because my dad said everybody's one in God's eyes, and you want to bring people together and do the right thing, you do it in love. That's the Bible talks about that, in love, and you are one in God's eyes. So when I did that song, I wrote that when Pops, now my Pops was TK, I had told him, he didn't know a little, but Dad, when March, he got sick during the pandemic, so Dad preached on Sunday. This is how this went down with We Are One when I wrote it. Dad preached on Sunday. Wednesday, Mom calls me. Hey, your dad, we got to rush him to the hospital. I'm like, what? He's like, can't breathe, coughing and whatever. He wasn't feeling. He's on a ventilator that Wednesday. So we call in, and then the doctors and my sisters, and I was out, and that Friday is when President Trump shut the nation down. So we had nothing going on. So they told Dad had double pneumonia and COVID on both lungs. He's 70 now. Double pneumonia. okay, on the ventilator, man. And they were like, hey, B, we don't know what this is.
Start preparing yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
And I said, man, my dad's tough. He's a fighter, man. My dad's a man of God. They told us, the doctors and everything. So he went through 10 months back and forth, you know, and he was in the hospital, and he was just like sick. He was on a ventilator for a while. They pulled him, but he was on the oxygen. They brought him back. His oxygen was like 59. The paramedics was like, man, he's supposed to be in cardiac arrest. I was like, man, my dad's a man of God.
Right.
That's what he's going to be. And so mom got it. So they both were sick during the summer. So dad came home Christmas time. That's when he goes. And the doctors told me, the infectious disease, they said, man, your dad is a man of God. 1% at his age with double pneumonia and COVID would not be here. And my dad's friends were passing, and ministers were passing from the COVID and people. And I knew that song, We Are One, that was my message to that. And I know this is the theme song. I know I'm doing the right thing. And I know with God's help and working with TK and others, we're going to move that thing, because no one would not support it. Everyone wants this message. It's just the person to do it. And I know it's bigger than me. And I know doing that with TK, I fulfilled. If anything else goes with me, great. But I know doing this We Are One and getting this done the right way and making these teams change the way they do on a post-new era of how they honor troops, I did my job. I did my job from the Pentagon as a Goodwill Global Ambassador, working with the higher-ups. I did my job for Motown, because Motown was of love, and I did my job for my brothers and sisters in the military. And so whatever God brings
I
after
would say
that.
not just that, but you did your job on what the path God put you on.
Put me on,
like
right.
You stayed on His path.
Right, TK.
All these other things were part of it, but
Right.
He put you on this path, and you stayed true to Him.
Right, TK.
And all these great things have come along.
Right, T.
On part in that as well. And then the one thing the final thing, how can everybody find you guys?
So you can go to me. My Instagrams is B.TAYLOR Ambassador on IG, B.TAYLOR AMBASSOR, and then on Twitter and Facebook is B.TAYLOR Official. They can look me up.
And Rocky will post all this on this post. He'll put all that so you can find B.TAYLOR and everything that One Life's doing. And
I'm probably just going to copy and paste the bio.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And then the nonprofit is onelifeorganization.org or onelifeorganization.org. The number one lifeorganization.org.
Which we'll put that on there as well, so you can go make a donation if you like, help our veterans, help our troops. And then we got one last surprise on the takeout tonight, right? What do we got on the way out?
What are we doing? Oh, yeah, so we're going to do a smooth transition on. So, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of our brother B.TAYLOR, this is a family right here that I'm honored to be part of. On behalf of TK.
More things to come.
You heard us referencing the video. You heard us referencing all this. Now you get to watch it. Ladies and gentlemen, from our family to yours, much love, much respect.
Enjoy the video.
God bless you, and God bless America. Good night, everybody.
We Are One, Love Is All We Need is the bridge to connect these challenging times in American history and create a cohesive voice across our nation. To unite, to support, and to join our nation's heroes, our military, veterans, first responders, and their families on this quest for love and justice for all.
My life matters. Your life matters. Humanity. All ethnicities, all religions, all beliefs need an amicable solution at this time. Although we may not all agree on all issues, but with mutual respect and self-discipline, we can fertilize our globe with the power of love. We are one.
I wake up in the morning, knowing I must go. Look into my family's eyes, full of tears that flow. Wondering, will I come back home? No one but God only knows. Did I make the right right decision? Will my kids be all alone? Gotta hold back the feeling that's inside. Be all that I can be. Wear this uniform with pride. Look up to the heavens for my help. My brothers and my sisters there, they won't ever let me fail. I'm the people's soldier, no matter where I stand. Give up my life for freedom, a good old American. Who cares if I'm a city guy or country boy, that's who I am. Let's all love each other as good old Americans. Wanna say it with me, we are one. We are one. We are one. Yeah, yeah. Love is all we need. A little love is all we need, yeah. We are one. We are one. We are one. Yeah, yeah. Love is all we need. Love is all we need, yeah. We are one. We are one. We are one. We are one. Love is all we need. Love is all we need, yeah. We are one. We are one. We are one. We are one. Love is all we need. Love is all we need, yeah.
There's people dying, babies crying, many fighting. What the hell are we doing this for?
All of us have strayed away, pointing fingers every day.
What's going on?
We need some Marvin Gaye, the miracles, that Motown way.
Homeless vets have got to go. Prejudice has got to go. Guns in school has got to go. Suicide can be no more.
When I get home, open up and accept me. Remember this one thing, land of the free, yeah.
I'm the people's soldier, no matter where I stand. Give up my life for freedom, a good old American. Who cares if I'm a city guy or country boy, that's who I am. Let's all love each other as good old Americans.
Come on and say it with me.
We are one. We are one. Love is all we need.
Love is all we need.
I got friends. We are one.
I can feel
We are one.
We are one, yeah.
Love is all we need.
Love is all we need, yeah. We are one. We are one. We are one, yeah. Love is
Love is all we need.
Love is all we need, yeah. We are one.
I got
We
friends.
are one. We are one. Love is all we need, yeah.
I can feel the love.
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 And I believe that it's all we need.
Love is all we need,
Oh,
yeah.
I can feel it, y'all.
I can feel the love.
'Cause you're my brother.
You're my sister.
I'm your sister.
I'm your brother.
Hey.
Hey, yeah.
Love is all we need.
Love is all we need.
'Cause love is all we need.
Love is all we need.
Say it's all we need.
Say it's all we need.
Yeah.
Hey, 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 yeah.
Yes, it is, y'all.
Yes, it is. Yes,
Yes, it is, y'all.
Oh.
Yeah. Love is all we need.
I wake up in the morning, knowing I must go. Look into my family's eyes, full of tears that flow. Wondering, will I come back home? No one but God only knows. Did I make the right decision? Will my kids be all alone? Gotta hold back the feeling that's inside. Be all that I